I just wanted to pop on here and reflect on some of the energy for the Mayan calendar system. For those of you that follow the Mayan calendar, for the Toltec or the Tzolkin, I keep saying Toltec, which is more four agreements, but for the Tzolkin Mayan calendar system, we're in a 10-day wave spell, and we're in a 10-day gap wave spell, which is galactic activation portal, which we're right smack in the middle of day 5 right now. And so if you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Ella Ivy, and this is livzenastrology, and we've been reflecting on the Mayan calendar system and the energy and the portal of energy that we all are currently in, also superimposing Western astrology with shamanism, with evolutionary astrology. And today I was told to cross-reference the energy also with the I Ching, which I also follow, right? Which I also, again, look at these sayings, these wisdoms, points of wisdom held in these sacred texts that all have a golden thread, or all have a weave of energy that's all intertwined into truth. And so as a truth seeker and somebody who's been following Gnosticism and my own inner gnosis and astrology for 20 plus years, this is just an integrative approach to studying energy and to studying your own psychic abilities and the energy patterns that are around you that are constantly shape-shifting and morphing and changing. So this gives a little bit of an explanation and hopefully a little insight into what you may be experiencing. And so today's mantra or wave spell for this Mayan calendar wave spell is as follows. I organize in order to love, balancing loyalty. I seal the process of heart with the rhythmic tone of equality. I am guided by my own power doubled. I am a galactic activation portal, enter me. And the first thing that I was brought to, and I, if you guys could check out my page, I have the graphic on there. When we look at, the guide, the antilog, the antipode, and the occult, they all mean something different. And so the guide today, which is sort of the energy that's above us, that is what we're looking towards to ascend, would be the dog, right? To come from our heart, to be in love and to be loyal. What does that really mean? What does that look like? Also, the analog, which is sort of like our helper for the day, is universal water, purify and flow. Again, these are just words. These are just, again, energy flows that are surrounding us right now, and how you decide to interpret or use it, it's up to you. But this is just what the Mayans were saying is surrounding us in this current. The antipode, or the thing that's furthest away from us in the universe or through consciousness, would be universal fire, enlightened, and life, right? And then the occult, or the thing that's foundational, that's kind of like our secret superpower that we have that can help us through this day, help us with this energy, is the energy of magic, play, and illusion. So the antipode, which is like the furthest away from us, universal fire, I'm thinking of like when we're in Scorpio season, right? We're in the underworld. So we're the furthest away symbolically from light. We're in the darkened realms of the void, which is not a negative thing, but it's just as where things go to die to be reborn, right? But you have to transition and to go into another realm. But the gifts that we have are our ability to be creative and to be playful, like Aries, right? I think of like children. And what was interesting when I was called to, read the I Ching, which I think is very interesting. And for those of you that study the I Ching, it's 64, again, sayings or precepts that have been gifted to humanity to share consciousness and how energy forms and our psycho-spiritual nature of what humanity goes through in terms of our evolution and our consciousness. And so, which was interesting, because I have an app that's got the I Ching on it, so I like to just, wherever I'm at, and today I was actually at a local government office looking to get some help and looking to fill some paperwork out, because I'm here in Florida and was directly affected by Helene and Milton. So just having to do a lot of paperwork stuff, which I'm very grateful for, right? Because a lot of different people have different relationships with the governing bodies. But So far, I've had an amazing experience with the people who work there because I see them as people and they see me as people. And so there's just a different dynamic that's happening, especially after this disaster that just happened, especially after all the trauma that a lot of people just went through. A lot of people that are working in these governing systems are really being very helpful and very compassionate. And it's a different form of compassion or help that I've ever experienced. And so I'm so grateful that, we're really finding our humanity in these really uncertain times. But anyway, while I was sitting in the office and I was filling out a lot of paperwork, and I had this really lovely young woman named Catherine, shout out to Catherine if you watch this, who just helped me through it and helped me walk through the process of this, and it was just very graceful. And we were on the phone for a few hours, so we kind of like chit-chatted and got to know each other too, in the wake of also doing a lot of paperwork and a lot of number crunching and putting stuff in. But in the process of it, I told her, as me changing careers, digital marketing, astrology, and I asked what her sign was, and so Aries, right? And so lately I've been conversing with my dear friend Eric, who's also an Aries. So Aries has been coming into the field, and after reading this part of the I Ching, it's all connected, guys. I promise I'll relate it back to the Mayan calendar system, how the Mayans and the Asian community, different cultures, different parts of the world, and yet there's similar things happening. And in Western astrology, the link is tied to Aries, which is about leadership, which is the north node in astrology of what we all come to learn. Now, the nodes of the moon have been in the axis of Libra and Aries now. Usually it's about a year and a half, and it'll be changing forms or signs going into Pisces and Virgo in January. But from now until January, we're still in this north nodal aspect that's conjunct, or it's a loose conjunction, but it's in the same sign also as Chiron, which is the wounds of the child, right? 20 degrees. And right now we're at 6 degrees in the north node of Aries, what we've come to learn. So coming back to leadership, loyalty, these are words that are being emphasized today. And how do you command loyalty? How do you share loyalty? Who are you loyal to? And why are you loyal to certain organizations, certain people? What characteristics invoke in your loyalty? And the same with leadership, right? What characteristics do you look for in a leader? This is all North Nodal Aries stuff. This is all Chiron Aries, right? We have to learn to be the leaders of our lives. We have to learn to take direction and give direction accordingly. And to ourselves, primarily, we've got to learn to direct our own lives. This is learning to be the leader, right? Learning to be first, so that you can help other people by making sure your cup is full, so that you can give to others around. And right now, there's a lot of people in need, including yourself. So what this time is telling me in this gap wave spell on the 5-day, 5 is change, is changing the way we view ourselves, changing the way we take care of ourselves, nurture ourselves, and changing the way we show self-respect and how we lead our lives. And so I wanted to share today, it's just interesting because as I opened up the app, and you have to do this consult, you push the button 3 times, right, and then it spins, right? So it's like a random spin, that's on the computer that you think it's just random, but I don't believe in random. I think everything happens for a reason, and there are no coincidences or coinciding incidences that are not related, because livzen comes from the maxim that all is self, and that everything happens outside of you is part of you and what's going on. So as I push the buttons on my phone here, right? You just push 3 times to consult, and twice, I did it twice. So the first time I got 41, and 41 came up back to back. So I got 2 41s. And then I did the consultation again before doing this video, and I got 41 again, but the second number was 27, which is my birthday. So 41 is prevalent today, obviously. And per this Mayan wave spell that we're all in, I feel it's a signifier, and it's really explicating how to perhaps we can navigate these energies by really understanding the idea of leadership and the idea of learning how to lead your own life and had to be inspired and how to be loyal to the energies around you, right? To be loyal to yourself and to be loyal to others and to command loyalty within other people. So the 41, I'm just going to go ahead and read this, and it says decrease. Be still, lessen the power of the ego, and misfortune will be avoided. It is a fact of life that times of decrease come upon us. Our resources are limited, difficulty surrounds us, and our egos generate angry and unhappy emotions. Now, if that's not a lot of what's going on in the collective right now, that's very prevalent right now. But it's saying, this is the directive or the advice that the I Ching is giving the collective right now. Nonetheless, such times are good for us if we respond to them by quieting our egos and turning sincerely to the higher power for help. Whoever that higher power is for you, right? This is Saturn and Pisces. This is whatever your higher power is. It's asking you for right now to turn to that aspect of yourself, to the higher octaves of you, of your personality, of what you believe, the higher versions of you that just act better, do better, feel better. This is what it's called for right now. It says, okay, yeah, sincerely turn to your higher powerful help. We emerge from the period of decrease stronger, healthier, and wiser. When we discover that we are unable to achieve our goals, our egos become infuriated. We are tempted to harden into anger and bitterness, to lash out, to desperately and aggressively grab for control over the situation. If we do this, however, we only push our own salvation further away. The I Ching counsels a withdrawal into stillness now. The image is that of a spring reverting to the inside of a mountain during a time of drought. By returning to its quiet center during the time of decrease, it avoids evaporating and exhausting itself in vain. You would be wise to follow this example. To try to force progress by arguing, manipulating, or making excuses will only bring your own downfall. Instead, disengage from your inferior elements, however passionate they seek expression, and turn to the sage for guidance and assistance. And I think of inferior too, even the word, right? In fear. When you're in fear, you act inferiorly. And so this is a time right now, especially when we're looking to leadership and we're looking to change in the political arena, especially the politics of our lives. Our neighbors, this is Gemini, right? Jupiter and Gemini, our siblings, brothers and sisters, our neighbors, our friends. How are we all getting along? What's the pulse check of the nation after this tragedy, after this series of disasters, and we're still in this hurricane season? So how are we all relegating our own temperaments, and how are we all communicating together during this time of crisis? Are we pulling together in this time of need? This is what's being focused on right now, because what we do right now is going to influence our future. Going back to this, what it says for the I Ching and the Mayan calendar and the gap wave. The hexagram sun issues a call to sacrifice negative feelings, accept the powerlessness of the ego against the currents of life, and return to contemplation of the principles of the sage. In stillness and meditation, we enrich the higher parts of ourselves and thus bring an end to the time of decrease. And the further advice that it gives, it says to truly help others. This is where I found it very, very potent, and sort of the advice that I'm taking today, that I'm imbibing with, if you will. To truly help others, you must maintain your own dignity. Everyone is decreased if you indulge in what is inferior. And I found it interesting because I like how it said, it's when you indulge in fear, it's like you're indulging in the fear-mongering. You know, if you're watching things that are gloom and doom and the world's going to end and comets are going to kill everything, and, you know, I don't know. It may not. I'm getting ready to cycle 51 cycles around this sun on October 27th. So I know that, hey, I'm still here, right? In the now, all we got is the now. And so while we're here now, why not be the best version of us now? And that was the next part of the I Ching, because when you do an I Ching pull, you always pull two, I guess, precepts or imageries together, because in the realm of polarity, you got to balance it out, right? So the second number that I got, remember I told you I got the 41 twice, and it was both 4141. This time when I pulled it, it was 4127, which we talked about 27 is my solar return, right? So I'm going to steal the Prince thing where Prince only had one birthday, but there's cycles around the sun. So I've only been born once, which was my birthday, October 27th, but it's cycled around. It'll be 51 times this year. So anyway, going to the message of the 27, which I found probably the most pertinent in this Mayan GAP wave spell energy that I'm looking to the I Ching to get further clarity on. Yep, that's welcome to the channel. So what it says for 27 is, the image of this hexagram is that of an open mouth. It comes to, the image, by the way, the saying is the corners of the mouth providing nourishment. So in the image, you can see, if you look at the I Ching, it has a smile, somebody with smiling. So anyway, it says the image of this hexagram is that one of an open mouth. It comes to remind us that the nourishment of our bodies and spirits is important and merits our conscientious attention, which is also very Mars and Cancer, right? People are getting angry about what's in our food. Check out what's happening out in the culture right now with, the mothers are pissed off, Cancer, about these dyes that are putting in our food, only in the United States that they're not putting in other countries. So people are pissed off about how we're being nourished, right? This is also, the United States' sign is in Cancer. The sun's in Cancer, right? So people are angry, like, wait a minute, why are we getting fed different food in this country than in other foods, than in other countries that won't tolerate it? Because they accept, or other countries won't allow the crap that we allow in our food, right? So this is part of the anger of Mars and Cancer. But what it's talking about is this is what's being addressed right now, how we nourish ourselves, how we have allowed ourselves to be degraded or debased, especially based on our foods and what we've allowed into our bodies. So this is the wisdom for the I Ching that talks about this, right? And again, how are we leading? How are we leading our lives? How are we leading what goes into our bodies? How are we having sovereignty over our bodies and what's going into our tables, our families, food? This is all Cancer. So it gives us a 3-part advice on the subject. Part 1. The first counsel is that we should not feed our minds on desire, which is very interesting because we're in Scorpio season, which is all about desire. So there's this interesting paradox, right? In the season of desire, it's asking us, the energy is saying, don't desire anything. Let's figure that one out. Okay, the first counsel is that we should not feed our minds on desire. When we forego our equanimity and begin to desire something or someone, a host of other inferior influences comes into play. We become ambitious about obtaining the object of our desire. We become fearful that we will not. If we do achieve it, our ego is gratified and strengthened, and it soon issues another demand for us to meet. A reinforcing cycle of negativity is thus created. Therefore, it is wise to hold yourself free from desire. The second counsel is that we begin and continue in a regular practice of meditation. Sitting quietly with our eyes closed for even as little as 10 or 15 minutes a day begins to clear the waste out of our hearts and minds, making room for the nourishment of peace and wisdom to enter in. To sit in meditation is to tune your ear to the voice of the sage, and it is the most powerful way of gaining its assistance. Mosquitoes are getting ready to eat me alive here, so I gotta hurry up and read. Okay. And the final counsel is that we observe tranquility in speech. This is Mercury, Scorpio, right? Put that stinger away, everybody. Thoughts, also Scorpio. And actions, which is Mars, Cancer. By cultivating calm and equanimity in all that you say, think, and do, you nourish your superior self and that of those around you. One who follows these 3 counsels will now meet with good fortune. So it's about not only being the leader of your life, but also, commanding your own energy. You don't have to lead others, just learn to lead yourself. And again, this is what we all, per Western astrology, is what we've all collectively come to learn. And per the Mayan calendar system, it's saying stay loyal to yourself, stay loyal to your heart and to your creations and what it is that you want to bring in and what you're drawn to. and hold on loosely to it, you know, even in this energy of desire, which Scorpio can be very fixed emotion, obsessive, compulsive. It just wants something and it will do everything it can to get it, because it's also co-ruled by Mars, its previous ruler. Right? It'll do anything, take any action it wants, which could be very obsessive, dark shadow side of Scorpio. But what the energy is advising us today is just hold it lightly. Hold anything that you desire or that you really, really, really want, hold it lightly. Because otherwise you're going to either suffocate it or push it away from you. And the ego is just going to never be satisfied once it finally does get it. It's just going to invoke in a hunger for more, and it's this wanting, right? It's the reptilian part of ourselves it's being fed. If we continue in these lower inferior elements, these being in fear will keep us in this debased type of energy that we're doing to ourselves. So this is just some of the energy that wanted to come through today as we are, again, navigating this 10-day portal of energy for the Mayan calendar system, for the Tzolkin calendar system, and, embedding it and imbibing it with Western astrology. Right now, the moon is in Leo, so it's very fiery. I almost went on toe walking meditation. I had to go move the energy, feeling a lot of fiery energy today. Where in the last couple of days we were very much in water, which is more emotional and wanted nurturing. Now it's more energy. Let's get things done. And then after this cycle, we're going into Virgo, which is very much about work and organization and groundedness. So definitely following the patterns of energy as I see them, as I experience them. And I'm so grateful to be on here to share these experiences with you. And if you want to reach out and get a book a birth chart session with me, feel free. My information's in my page. And also, if you liked any of this content, please share it and like it, subscribe, do all the things, because it's free for you, but it's good for the channel and it helps get this information out there. And thank you so much for your support and for your connection and for your continued just being here and sharing and expressing the energy. Because that's all we can do right now, is just keep sharing what it is we're experiencing, and hopefully we can learn from one another and empower one another and inspire one another and keep going. Don't give up. This is all a messed up time, and we're all just doing the best we can to figure it out. So as we get inspired with these thoughts, we get with these energies and our own interpretations, just share your light, share your love, share your wisdom. We need it. All right, guys. Two squirrels just started playing. They're chasing each other. That's fun. All right, that's nature. Gotta go play. Moon and Leo. Bye, guys.